Now, let me talk again about the second level of prayer. Usually, these are people who are drug addicts. Meaning to say, they had been really in that life. But you know, I always feel that we cannot limit God by our limitation. In one of my travels in the United States, I was coming from Canada and I was going to New York. I was in Montreal and I traveled across and then I went to New York. That is several hours by train. I took the train. And I happened to sit near a Scottish girl. And so we started to talk. And then she was asking me, "Sister, where are you going?" And I said, "You know, I'm going to New York, then I'm going to New Jersey. I'm hopping from many states." And then she was surprised and she said, "Why are you traveling a lot? Are you taking a vacation?" And I said, "No, I'm not taking a vacation. I'm giving lectures." And then she said, "What kind of lectures?" I did not like to say that I am giving the lecture of Saint Teresa and Saint John of the Cross because she will not be able to understand and she will not be interested. And so I just give her that it is a lecture that I bring people into silence, into a kind of prayer that is silent. Why? Because when the person is silent, he goes into a deeper level of consciousness. And when a person goes into a deeper level of consciousness, you reach the unconscious. Now, in the unconscious, we have plenty of our hurts when we were young children. And that is in the 8 stages of human development. Each one of us have a need, but many times our parents do not realize that we need it because we cannot still speak, we are not yet conscious of it. For example, 0 to 1 year old, the child in the womb already needs affection. Meaning to say that the father and the mother are welcoming the child, they are happy to have this child because the baby inside the womb can feel that welcoming. And so what I said, many times we do not give the children our welcoming. Especially today, I said, many people wants to take their children because they are not ready. Many people, and so that really affect the child in the womb. And the child right from the beginning is already rejected. Later on, when he or she will become adult, that behavior will come again. Meaning to say that I'm rejected. And this will become a problem person. And so I was telling the girl, many of us have these, what we call in psychology, issues that are not resolved. For example, in the next stage, you need to do whatever you like. I am what I feel freely. And then in the next stage, you need affection, you need affirmation. And many of us were not given that. So what will happen now? If you are not given that, that will become your problem in your adult life. That is why I am leading people to a kind of prayer that will lead them deeper into levels of prayer where they are able to meet whatever insecurities that they have during the time of their childhood. This is the prayer that I am teaching. Going deeper, maybe you call it meditation, but really going into silence in order that you can go deeper into your unconscious. Because if you pray, for example, vocal prayer, you will say, Our Father who art in heaven. That is a very good prayer, but that is only in the mind. That will not go deeper into the unconscious. That is why we need to pray in the conscious level, but we also need to pray in the unconscious, because there are many insecurities in each one of us that we're not really fulfilled during our childhood. And so I told this girl, I'm teaching this kind of leading them into silence for the healing of the unconscious. And then afterwards, I said, there will be a time in our life when these unconscious issues goes up to the conscious mind. And you know, this is usually happening in midlife. That's the reason why that many midlife people are under crisis, because many of their issues now go to the conscious mind. Why? Why is it that it is necessary that the unconscious issues goes to the mind so that we can integrate it with our conscious mind? We cannot do away with our weaknesses, but we can be really we can be conscious of it so that we will not act it out. For example, when I was a little child, I was supposed to be given care from my mother, and I was not given care. So what will happen? I will choose of the 7 capital sins. I can be angry, I can be envy, I can be lustful, in order to fill up that insecurity that my mother created, because he did not give me the right kind of need that I really needed at that moment. And that is the one that will cause us to go into sin. So I said, I told this girl that you need to go deeper and deeper and deeper in your prayer in order that you will begin to realize what are these sinfulness. And do you know what she said? Sister, we are doing that in the rehabilitation center for drug addicts and alcoholics. And I said, what do you mean? They are leading us into meditation also, in order that we will see our issues and we will be healed. So I said, so you are also praying? Yes, sister, because today in all rehabilitation centers in the United States, we have come to realize that all addiction can only be healed by a personal experience of God. A personal experience of God. Meaning to say, you have gone into that level where you really experience God in your prayer. And so, I was really struck, because I've come to realize that these are the people who have reached a very deep level of prayer, that in the spiritual life, we used to say, contemplatives. And so I said, what is your idea? Where are you going now? They said, we are going, sister, to the places in order to help other people. And I said, how do you know where you are going? We listen inside. These are people who have lived a very deep level of consciousness. There is a constant listening. She does not even realize it. Do you know what Saint Teresa said? What is really holiness? Saint Teresa said, holiness is nothing else but listening and doing the will of God every moment. I could see that these recovering drug addicts are living the grace of God every moment. Meaning to say, they are really listening to God. And then I asked them, how do you know that? And they said, we listen inside. And I said, why are you here? I said, we are here because we might be able to help other people who are experiencing like us. I have realized that these people really have become missionaries. They want to share the graces that God has given them. They do not even know. And then finally I said, why do you say that you are recovering drug addicts and alcoholics when you are already healed for many years? And she told me, Sister, we are not fully recovered. Because once that power beyond us, meaning to say God, the grace of God, let loose of us, we are back to sin. And I could see that they have reached the fourth level. In the spiritual life, we call them contemplatives. Meaning to say, they have reached a different level of consciousness where their faith, their hope, and their love has become the faith, hope, and love of Jesus. They really have reached a level where we can truly say that they are people who are already mature, who are integrated. And I was so surprised when she said that when that power beyond us leave us, we are never healed. When that power leave us, we are back to zero. Do you know? Only people who are deeply spiritual can be that humble. Meaning to say, they do not depend on their own strength. They completely depend on the grace of God. And only people who have reached a very deep level of consciousness can say that. That is why many of us who pray every day can still be very proud. Because we think our being good, our going to church, our praying the rosary is our own work. Because we are not yet in that level. When we are in that level of consciousness, we begin to experience the power of God, and we honestly believe that without God, we cannot do anything. And that is genuine humility. And so, these kind of people, I want to tell you that from sinfulness, they go straight to sainthood. Why? It is because they did not escape the pain and the suffering that they went through in the rehabilitation center. St. John of the Cross said, God sends us sufferings in order that we reach that level. We Catholics, we have plenty of suffering, but we escape. We escape. That's why we cannot reach rock bottom. People who are in the rehabilitation center really reach rock bottom. That's why they are free. These are examples of people in their spiritual journey. From the first and then to the second level, they went straight to the fourth level because they have been generous to God. In their moments of sufferings, in their moments of helplessness, they turned to God. They did not run away from their sufferings. And it might be a great help for many of us because most of us really undergo these kinds of sufferings in our life. And maybe it will help you. And next time, when I'm going to talk to you, because these are people from the second level straight to the fourth. Next time, I'll talk about the third level. Thank you.